All right, very briefly, we asked for candidates, any candidates who were in attendance, to come up, and we have one. We have Rebecca Whiting. You heard from her earlier here today, and I'm going to let you tell, or let her tell you, what it is that she's running for and a little bit about herself.
Thank you. So thank you for everybody that has stuck this out. I am shivering, so I am going to make this very quick. Thomas Jefferson said that timid men prefer the calm of despotism to the tempestuous sea of liberty. My name is Rebecca Whiting, again, as you already know. I am a homeschooling mom to a large family, and if you heard my talk earlier, you know that I also help run a small family farm with my husband Keith, but I am also the Libertarian candidate for U.S. Senate. Most importantly, and the reason that I am running is because I am also an Army veteran that served 2 tours to Iraq as a combat medic, in Ramadi in 2004 and then again in Baghdad in 2006 with the 2nd Infantry Division, 2nd Brigade Combat Team. From those experiences, I saw the reality of war and the absolute utter futility of engaging in constant foreign conflict, but that the U.S. government mandates it not to keep us safer, but to keep the defense industry and the military-industrial complex richer at the cost of the American military lives. They take advantage of the sacrificial nature of the American military to fuel the blood sacrifice required to keep up the forever wars. Recruitment that is done by kids looking for direction and purpose in life because we didn't have our futures handed to us, but instead had to work hard to get ahead. That's where I was, and that was why I joined, and as were many of my fellow soldiers. Then 9/11 happened, and then Iraq. Today we are part of the 22 soldiers a day, and I'm tired of getting the call that we lost another one to a battle that nobody can save us from because of a war we never should have fought in. As a libertarian, I believe in the non-aggression principle that states as long as you aren't hurting anyone and stealing their stuff, you are free to exercise your personal liberties according to how you see fit. At no point should we be petitioning the government to write legislation that would restrict the free movement and exercise the liberty of Americans. My platform is very simple. 1, end the wars. Adopt policies of non-intervention. Get out of the foreign conflict. Unless the United States is attacked on our soil, we have no business engaging in military exercises with another country. Let us build up our borders, defend ourselves, and pull out of the global stage of war and the illusion that we are fighting for democracy and national security. Get out of NATO, stop entangling alliances with other countries, pass a National Defend the Guard bill, which keeps governors from using the National Guard as puppets for the military-industrial complex, and bring every troop that's overseas home. Ron Paul said that it's no coincidence that the century of total war coincided with the century of central banking. My second platform is end the Fed, tie the hands of the central banks, stop the debt, and bring back the gold standard. The inflation is the result of a budget that hasn't been balanced in over 20 years. The overprinting of money, the $35 trillion of debt, and a government that is either too stupid to care or knows exactly what they are doing it and is doing it anyways. Regardless, I would love to help facilitate the retirement of every member of the political oligarchy that is helping destroy American sovereignty with their poor financial decisions. If taxation without consent is not robbery, then any band of robbers have only to declare themselves and government, and all the robberies are legalized. That's a quote by Lysander Spooner. If you don't know who that is, please Google him as you leave here. End the regulatory burden. This is my third platform issue. It's killing the working class. It is not enough to work hard and make it anymore. The system is rigged against anyone who might prosper to keep people weak and obedient to the state. The regulations that keep innovation from thriving because the government has put too many restrictions on agriculture and industry to keep anyone from doing well has created artificial pockets of shortages and allowed for a fragile supply system. Murray Rothbard said that the state necessarily lives by the compulsory confiscating of private capital, and since its expansion, involves ever greater incursions on private individuals and private enterprise, the state is proudly and inherently anti-capitalist. I'm not here to run for office to simply show up and read a speech. I'm here to keep a movement alive. Do not follow me, follow the ideas the country was founded on, the principles of liberty, truth, and justice, so that someday we can pass the torch on to future generations to carry it when it's their time. Today we are faced with a state in direct opposition to liberty and the free future for our children. I am heavily invested in the future through my children, and if you didn't know, there's a lot of them. And I want to leave a legacy for them of hope and peace, even if that means that I don't get that in my time. The problems we face are systematic ones, an illusion of choice. The same hands that create the wars also determine the players. The people who cause the problems will not be the solution going forward. We won't change a system by conforming to it, and for that reason, I am running as a libertarian. It's time for change, and I won't let it be said that in my time I did nothing when we had the chance to challenge an outdated and corrupted system. I'm in this for a long haul. If you take anything from this and you are frustrated with the results that you've gotten over the decades here in Minnesota, there is an alternative on the ballot that's bringing something different to the show of political theater. It's time to shake things up and start by voting different, voting to end the wars, save the working class, and defund the government. Keep the movement of patriots and rebels alive. One last quote. Oh, sorry, I don't have one. That was an error on my part. Thank you anyways.